Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Competitive Botany. In this video, you are going to see important MCQs from the subject plant physiology from the topic transport in plants. So these are very much useful for JL notification, DL notification, AP set and NET too. Okay, so let's see the questions one by one. Diffusion in plants is useful in options are movement of water into root hairs, loss of water vapor from the stoma, entry of gases into plant parts, all of the above. So the correct answer is all. So these three processes involve diffusion. Okay, so let's see the next question. Diffusion is driven by options are enzyme activity, energy input, concentration gradient, external pressure. So the correct answer is diffusion involves concentration gradients. So the diffusion involves the movement of molecules from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. So it is dependent on concentration gradient. Let's see the next question. What is the role of the lipid bilayer in cellular diffusion? Options are it is selectively allows certain molecules to pass, it prevents the movement of molecules, it allows the free movement of all substances, it generates energy for diffusion. So the correct answer is it selectively allows certain molecules to pass is the correct answer. So let's see the next question. Osmosis is a special type of diffusion related to the movement of options are solutes across selectively permeable membrane, solvents across selectively permeable membrane, solutions across selectively permeable membrane, solvents in absence of selectively permeable membrane. So the correct answer is solutions across selectively permeable membrane is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. So, what is the correct statement about facilitated diffusion? So, options are two types of molecules move in opposite direction in Symport. More than one type of molecules move in one direction in Uniport. One type of molecules moves in opposite direction in Antiport. Two types of molecules move in same direction in Symport. So in the previous video I have explained what is facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion is nothing but in the case of facilitated diffusion, lipid insoluble substances they move along the membrane with the help of special proteins. With the help of special proteins, they are called channels. They gives the passage for the entry of hydrophilic molecules. So actually some molecules they do not cross the plasma membrane even though they are passed through the membrane with the help of channel proteins. So this is called facilitated diffusion. I have explained this in the previous video clearly. Please go through that video. Okay. So you know the facilitated diffusion. But here you have to know what is Uniport, what is Symport, what is Antiport. Then only you will answer this question properly. Okay. Let's see what are Uniport, what is Antiport, what is Symport. Let's see. So look at the picture carefully. So here proteins are embedded in the plasma membrane. Okay. So those three proteins are transporting molecules inside and outside. So there are three types of transport occurs through the proteins, such as first one is Uniport, second one is Symport, third one is Antiport. Let's see one by one. Okay, let's see one by one before answering the question. So have a look. Look at the first picture. So there transport first embedded, look at the first embedded protein, this one. So this is actually the protein. Okay, look at that. Okay, so there Uniport is a type of transport, nothing but here transport of single substance in one direction occurs. So the protein transporting the molecule in one direction, that protein is termed as unipolar protein. Okay, so this is actually facilitated diffusion. Okay, so it facilitates calcium 2 plus ions through the presynaptic membrane. Okay, that is an example for uniport transport. Okay, so it allows the molecules in one direction only. Okay, so Ca2 plus ions were transported through presynaptic membrane. Oh, that is called uniport. So let's see the second one. Look, have a look. Look at the second protein. So Symport type of protein. Symport protein. Symport is nothing but transport of two substances by one protein at a time in the same direction. Okay, so it transports two molecules or two substances at a time in the same direction. Okay, so Symport, this protein is called as Symporter protein. Symporter protein transports Na plus ions and glucose molecules at a time in the same direction. Okay, so this Symport type of transport occurs in intestine. So transport of molecules through the unipolar protein is a type of facilitated diffusion, whereas a transport of molecules through Symporter protein also a kind of facilitated diffusion. Both comes under passive transport only. So Symporter and unipolar both are comes under passive transport means. That means they doesn't require external energy. So now we are going to see the third kind of protein, that is antiporter protein. Antiport is a type of transport, is nothing but where the two substances by the same protein in the opposite direction. So have a look. One substance that is going innerwards and one is coming outside. Okay. So in the different opposite direction, they are moving in a opposite direction. This is an active transport. That means it requires external energy. Nothing but electrochemical gradient here that is used as external energy. For example, antiporter protein transports 3 Na plus ions out of the cell in exchange of 2 K plus ions into the cell. Okay, so Symport and Antiport, they are collectively called as co-transport. Symport and Antiport, they are collectively called as co-transport. Okay, let's see. Now we are going to see the question. Let's see the question. So what is the correct statement about facilitated diffusion? So the correct answer is two types of molecules move in the same direction in Symport is the correct answer. So Symport comes to facilitated diffusion. I have already explained with the suitable diagram. Okay, so let's see the next question. So which of the following factors does not affect the rate of diffusion? Options are color of substances, temperature, molecular weight, size of the particles. So the correct answer is color of the substances. It doesn't affect the rate of diffusion. Okay. So let's see the next question. Find out the correct statement about membrane proteins. So options are they exhibit high specificity to the substrate, facilitate both passive and active transport, they set up a concentration gradient, they facilitate transport of even water molecules. So the correct answer is they set up a concentration gradient. So this is the statement incorrect about membrane proteins. They do not involved in concentration gradient. Okay. So let's see the next question. In which type of transport membrane proteins are involved? Options are facilitated diffusion, simple diffusion, active transport. So the correct answer is facilitated diffusion and active transport. That means fourth one. 1 and 3 is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Which of the following is the similar feature noticed in both active transport and facilitated diffusion is? Options are sensitivity to inhibitors, utilization of ATP, transport from low concentration to high concentration, transport never reaches saturation. So the correct answer is sensitivity to inhibitors, that is similar feature noticed for active transport and facilitated diffusion. Okay. So let's see the next question. Pumps are helpful in. Options are Antiport, facilitated diffusion, Uniport, Symport. So the correct answer is Uniport is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Huge pores present in the outer membrane of plastids, mitochondria and some bacteria, allowing molecules up to the size of small proteins are called as. Options are lecithin, aquaporin, porins, all of the above. So the correct answer is porins. They present on the outer membrane of plastids, mitochondria and some bacteria. Actually, they allow the some kind of small protein molecules into and outside. Okay. So let's see the next question. Carrier proteins involved in. Options are active transport, facilitated diffusion, passive transport. So the correct answer is all. Carrier proteins, they involved in active transport as well as facilitated diffusion as well as passive transport too. Okay. So let's see the next question. So before going to next question, you have to know what are carrier proteins. Okay. So let's see. Actually, transport of molecules across the membrane occurs through the proteins only. I have already told you that. So the proteins only gives the passage for the movement of molecules across the membrane. So these are all the proteins, they are embedded in the membrane. That's why they are integral proteins. Okay. So let's see what are carrier proteins, what are channel proteins. So proteins only gives the passage for the movement of ions or molecules into the cell or outside of the cell. Okay. So these proteins are called as transport proteins. So they create the passage for lipid insoluble molecules or larger molecules to cross the biological membrane. So there are two types of proteins. They are channel proteins and carrier proteins. So, first one is the channel protein. These three are the carrier proteins. So, channel proteins that gives the channel for lipid insoluble molecules or ions. They can pass through the membrane. So, the channel protein provide continuous passage for the movement of molecules. The channel proteins may be selective for particular type of ions. Okay, they may be selective for particular type of ions. Now let's see the second category, carrier protein. These three are carrier proteins. So the carrier proteins bind to substrate. Here you will see the substrates inside the proteins. Okay, they bind to the substrates. Okay, they have the binding sites for the substrate. Okay, so carrier proteins, they also carry the substances outside and inside of the membrane. So the movement of molecules across the carrier proteins relatively slow when compared to the carrier channel protein. Okay, so there are three types of carrier proteins. So there are a uniport type of proteins, symport type of proteins, antiport type of proteins. Okay, so carrier proteins, they bind to the substance, they carry the substance across the membrane. Okay, so but channel protein that gives continuous passage for the movement of ions, maybe the ions are particular type of ions, maybe they may be. Okay, so this is about channel protein and carrier protein. Now we are going to see the correct option for this question. Carrier proteins involved in, options are active transport, facilitated diffusion, passive transport, all. So the correct answer is all. They involved in active transport, facilitated diffusion as well as passive transport. Let's see the next question. Antiport, symport, both are involved during. Options are simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, active transport. As I already told you that facilitated diffusion and active transport. So fourth one is the correct answer. Let's see the next question. Find the true statements regarding active transport. So options are it is highly sensitive, selective, it requires special carrier proteins, it is an uphill transport, all of the above. So the correct answer is all of the above is the correct answer.